What's up, good people? It's the Truth Is podcast, and today's topic is depression. Battling depression. Do you know people who've battled depression? You know, how'd you help them? What did you suggest? You know, did they seek, clinical help? Did they seek spiritual help? You know, so I'm gonna go around the room and I'm gonna start out with Sonia. Sonia, what would you say to a person who's battling depression? Have you ever experienced it? Set it off.
Well, I have experienced depression, um, dealing with several loss in my life.
Are you depressed now?
The way I'm talking, right? Right now I'm tired. But yeah, I've been in that dark place before, and it's a scary place to be because you feel that you'll never come out of it. You feel that this is just how your life is. Your mindset is like that, and it's never going to change. You don't think you'll ever be happy again. But I think having the right support around you, people around you that can recognize that you're in that place and help you out of it. I'm an advocate for therapy, and I think just got to be reminded that this too shall pass. But I've I believe I've been supportive to people who have been depressed. I hope I've been a support to them. Um, all you can do is just be there when they need you. An ear if they feel like talking, because you can't change the situation or what caused them to be depressed. You can't do anything about it, but you can listen. You can try to occupy their mind, their time, so they don't always be in that dark place. You know what I'm saying? So it's there's things you can do within your power, but for the most part, it's really up to that person to seek the right help to come out of that depressing state. Nita?
Um, I I don't know if I've been depressed. I know that I have dealt with a lot of sadness, but I don't know if I would categorize it as depressed. I think I've experienced some of the symptoms of depression, but I don't know. All I know is that I've had reason and experienced some really bad situations that have caused me that could send me into a depression. But me personally, um, my thing is if I can't fix it, and it took time
Yeah.
for me to learn this. If I can't fix it and I can't change it, and there's nothing I can do about it, then I feel like, well, you know what? I'm gonna have my moment, and then I'm getting up out of here because it's not gonna make it better. It's not gonna
Are you
fix it, and it's
sitting
not.
in the
Yeah,
ashes?
yeah. So I keep moving, and then people who are really dealing with real depression, sometimes they may need therapy
Yeah.
behind it because I can't identify with that level
Right.
of depression.
Right.
But I can identify with sadness. I had my dad, my sister, and my brother battling cancer at the same time.
Wow.
You know, my sister eventually passing from it 1st, and then my dad passed from it next, and then my brother. I had to go through his sickness where I'm going to the hospital, going through the surgeries. So it was a rough time.
Right.
But depression, it's just I try to look at things differently, and it's a learned behavior. Because when I feel like I'm feeling down, then no, I'm not staying here. I can't stay here. I can't fix it. I can't change it.
Right.
I've done all that I can do. So therefore, I don't allow myself to stay there. And again, it's a practice behavior. You got to practice it because it just doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Pop,
Or what I tell somebody that
what's wrong?
is depressed. Um, First of all, you're not crazy. It's I'm not gonna say it's a natural feeling, but your sadness can go into you feeling sorry for yourself and feeling like there's no way out. I don't know if I've had something to really be depressed about, but I've been around depression all my life. From watching my father and mother divorce, I watch each go into depression. I watch from the result of depression, I watch one become an alcoholic. I watch one become a drug addict. I watch sleep their life away, just stay in the bed, not move, drink beers and drink beers and drink beers. Watch one become very active and started using cocaine. I watch their character change. I watch from drug abuse, other things happen. So growing up as a child and watching depression, I think that I actually picked up that energy that at times I will go into a mode of sadness or feeling sorry for myself or wishing I would have did other things in life. Especially getting older, sometimes they call it a midlife crisis with some people, with some men, that they go through a midlife crisis. So, yeah, if you're depressed, you should seek help. You shouldn't be afraid to speak about it to someone. And sometimes you're around people depressed and they'll say to you like, "What's wrong with you? Why you
Snap out of it.
snap out of it?" Like
Yeah.
it's that
You got
easy,
so much to be happy about. You're so blessed.
right? And they don't know.
They don't have a clue.
They don't know what's going on in your mind
They don't have a
psychologically.
clue.
Right. Right.
I have a question. Why do you think that word depression is so taboo? Like, why does it seem like when somebody is depressed or is battling depression, it's so taboo?
If I think when I hear depression, I hear suicide right
Yes,
behind it.
Yes.
So as soon as you say, "I'm depressed," I'm not coming out. I'm depressed. I'm not. I don't want to go to work. I'm depressed. I'm moving out my house. I'm depressed. Everybody always say they're about to kill themselves. And in the black
Watch that
community,
one.
you
Watch
have,
that one.
Yeah.
you know, in the black community, we so busy talking about our neighbor that they're depressed and what they're going through. Sometimes they don't even watch their own children struggle with depression. They don't watch their children's behavior of locking themselves in their room. They don't they don't listen to the music that their children are listening to, the words that's encouraging them to kill themselves.
I had a friend that committed suicide, and all I know is I hadn't spoken to him in a minute. And I said, well, you know, we met up at this annual event that happened, and I said, you know what, I'm not gonna call, I'm gonna wait till we get to this event, and then I'm gonna blast him because I haven't heard from him. So when I got there, he wasn't there. I seen his father, and I said to his father, I said, well, where is he? And he looked at me, he said, baby, he's dead. I was like, what? Wait a minute. You know, and then he explained, he said the day it happened, he said he came home from work and he was playing a song. And he said he was trying to get me to dance with him. He said, Dad, come on and dance with me. And his father's in a wheelchair. He had a
Right.
stroke, so, you know, he's a little paralyzed. So a little paralyzed, that's no such thing, right? So he's paralyzed, so he couldn't get up and dance. So he was dancing, and he said he was playing this song. And I said to him, I said, okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and when I get back, he said, and the song was saying to live or die. And he said, I went to use the bathroom, and I heard pop. And he said, I came out, and there was my boy in a pool of blood. And he passed away, obviously, from his injuries. But, you know, I'm asking, like, like, what happened? I called his mother, I called his coworker to find out, like, what happened? And they said they seen no signs of this,
Right.
you know? And it was so devastating to me because I was like, what the heck happened to this man?
I don't think the person that commits suicide shows no signs. I think the person that
We miss it.
people not looking for it.
Yeah.
They don't miss it. They're not even looking. We are so caught up in things that we're going through that the person standing right next to us is going through some things that are small to you.
Yeah.
Right.
That you figure they'll get
That's-
over it
that's
because
so
it's
true.
small to you.
That's
Right.
true.
But it's in there. It's so
It's
big to
devastating
them.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really identify with it. I know what it feels like to say, "Oh my God, death has to be better than this." Because when so much is going on in your world and so much is going on in your life, you know, death has to be better than this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like dealing with this anymore.
Yeah.
So much going on at one time, and it seems like it's never ending. You know, and they say suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
And
Says the person that's never killed themselves.
yeah, well,
Says the person I think that's a hard.
you don't
It could
like
be.
that.
It could be.
You
A,
don't
it
like
could
that.
be a permanent. It could be a permanent problem. It's not a. It's
To
not
that
a.
person.
It could be a permanent problem. That's something that you're just gonna have to live with. That it's hard for. I seen. I know a person that was talking about his breakup with his fiance, and he was hurt, and he didn't want to do anything. And I said, "Man, when did this happen?" He had said, "It was 10 years ago."
Oh shoot!
And he was still stuck
Wow.
in depression. And they was like, "That was 10 years, man. Get over it." But you have to have some type of support system.
Yeah.
If you
No,
can't help
sure.
a person, don't try to help a person.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have someone who can help you process whatever the situations that are going on in your life. You need somebody to help you process that.
Well, I think you just need somebody to don't help you, but just at least listen.
Yeah.
Without,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, listen, the only thing you have to do is this. This is what I would do.
Right.
This is what.
Try to give
just-
a solution.
just
Sometimes
listen
people
to
just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
talk.
yeah. Let them
Damn.
release.
Yeah.
Get a release.
Yeah.
You know, talking is a release. I find I talk a lot. Y'all know that, but I find I talk to release stuff because I don't want to carry the weight of so many things that have gone on in my world.
Right.
Because I feel like some of the things that I've experienced, I feel like, oh my goodness. You know, sometimes, you know, they say we all reap what we sow, and, you know, and I'm like, well,
Wow.
dag, what did I do to deserve all of this? Because there's some things that have gone on in my world that I'm like, yo, I didn't deserve this. Like, what
Right.
did I do?
Right.
You know? But I find that I wake up every day with a proclamation. You know what I'm saying? I wake up every day intentionally and say, no, you know, I'm not going to let my situation control me.
Right.
I have to control it. And what I realize is everybody doesn't have that. And everybody has to get to that place. You know, so sometimes you have to seek therapy. You have to seek somebody who is more knowledgeable that, like you said, sometimes you just need somebody to sit and listen to you. You talk it out. And because I find me talking, I release stuff.
Right.
You know, I could be very down, but if I talk about it and get it out, I walk away lifted. You know, what I do is allow myself to feel it. You know, when death happens, you know, so they don't cry. They're in a better place, and all of that means nothing to me right now because I'm hurting. I'm in pain.
Right.
So, you know, cry as much as you want. Cry, kick, scream, holler, punch walls. Do what you feel like you need to do
Let it
to
out.
get through it. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be
Release it.
stuck right there. You gotta release it. You have to release it. So that's what I do. I get up every morning. No, it's not gonna control me today.
I have a question. Like, have you ever heard people who are or I should say experience or know somebody who's depressed, and their way of handling it is they use spirituality.
Yes.
Like they'll say if they knew, you know, a higher power, because we have different denominations in our audience. If they knew this higher power, they wouldn't be depressed. What do you say to people like that? Is there? Do you believe there's substance in that?
Well, sometimes because you believe in a higher power, whatever that is, sometimes that's when the attack is even the more on you. You know, a lot of times, the problem with that is that whoever's saying that assumes that person is at that level spiritually, that they can fight it spiritually. Not everybody's at that level, you know. So maybe what that person need from you, because you're there, is to pray for them. Okay, you can't expect them to level up where you are. So you can't for someone.
I disagree with you, but I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. So, you know, for someone to say that, I understand where they're coming from, but sometimes you have to be careful how you say that to someone who may be a new babe in Christ, or maybe don't even know Christ at all. So let's get them to the level of maturity spiritually where they may be able to fight it that way. But until then, you got to give them another option, another way. So what are you struggling with, Pop? What are you disagreeing with?
With demon.
Okay.
I struggle with it because if I'm not a person of spirituality or however you want to word it, if I'm some guy that's listening to this podcast, that's struggling with depression, and I know nothing about the church culture, I have a demon in me. So now I need an exorcism for my depression. That's not true. I believe that it's something that's going on in your mind that has triggered it, and you need to find some type of way to speak about it, get to the root of it, acknowledge it. It's a demon. We in church, everything is a demon. You have
Everything is spiritualized.
everything is spiritualized. Like,
But that's what the question was. That if someone is coming at it in that direction, in that way, that's what the question was.
right.
Right.
But about prayer, yeah, you can pray, but people don't believe in prayer. God only works if you believe.
Faith.
Right.
So you can pray because let me explain prayer. If prayer is so powerful, why do I have to hear you pray? Why do you have to tell me you pray for me? If your prayer
Just do
activates,
it.
if you believe in your prayer and that your prayer changes things, why don't you just pray silently
And don't
and watch
tell
the
me.
effect of God?
Right.
Why do I have to pray and let you know I pray for you? That's like just an encouragement for the average person that goes to church. They've just been encouraged. That's it. So if I'm at the point of depression and you tell me I have a demon, that adds to my depression. I have a demon in me. I have a demon in me. I don't know what's going on. My mother is strung out. My father's dying. My sister, they don't want to talk to me. And I have a demon now. I've been told I have a demon. No, at that. It's not a demon. It's something that's going on in your mind. It's like your mind playing with your mind. And it's telling you that what you're going through is bigger than what it is to everybody else. And that everybody, I don't know if everybody, whatever you're going through, whether you're not going to make it out of it, nobody's been going through this, nobody else is going through this. Wanted to say something?
No, finish your point. No,
No, I'm finished. I made my point.
no. I think that the biggest insult and the biggest, most insensitive thing you could tell somebody who's battling depression is snap out of it and get over it. You know, I've known people who, you know, who struggle with depression, and you know, you even learn how to deal with them, because that's the first thing we say is get over it or snap out of it. And the crazy thing is, you never know what drives people to suffer from some form of depression. Because, like, case in point, like you were talking earlier, Sonia, like, for those of you who know Sonia, she looks like she has everything. You know, you never see her walk around with a puss on her face, nothing like that. But she even admit, like, yeah, I went through it. I'm lost. You know, what could trigger Anita? It could be, you know, a relationship. And even like people who don't get over relationships that have been with somebody 10 years ago, well, maybe that's the one person that they just was into that much. You know, I have an extended family member, on my mother's side of the family, who was married to my uncle, and literally when he died 20 years ago, has not been able to recover since, because they loved each other that much. You know, had the ups and downs. He went through some substance abuse issues, and finally, he cleaned himself up, and they got married. Cleaned himself all the way up, and then he died. So all those years, she did the right thing for herself, worked, bought herself a home, did everything right. Waited for him to catch up. He had to go through. He was a veteran, also, and came back, and she never recovered from him dying 20 some years ago. Never moved on. Just so you know, I think it's such a thing that needs to be addressed and touched on. And I think we all, including our listeners, need to pay attention to people who are possibly showing some type of signs of depression, and take the time to educate yourself. Okay, wait a minute. If Pop is not acting right, and it's not, I'm not talking about a bad mood.
Right.
If Pop is like, of all of
The
a
whole
sudden,
behavior has
yeah,
changed.
Pop's drastically changed. There's probably something along to it with that. So, Nita, what do you think?
I think people need professional help. It's not, because some people are like, no, there are severe cases where people need medication to help them get out of that funk. I can't personally identify with it. I've never been there. And I really can't say I know someone that has been there at that level. I know people who have suffered some depression, but not at the level where they had to be medicated. But if you need help, you need to seek professional help, where these people are a little more knowledgeable than your friend, where you call and talk on the phone, because you
Right.
know we could say things that can trigger other things
Right.
and make situations and matters worse.
I think, but I think my logic to my statement is more of, you know, maybe if you see that person acting out of character, I'm not saying that you're supposed to diagnose them, because none of us here, at least to my knowledge, I can't diagnose anything. All I can do is you could just see
The changes.
the change. And I had, you know, a guy who worked for me, 24 years old, great shape, literally said to me, I would see him every day, always smiling, and literally went through something in his personal life over his girlfriend, and he was raising like another man's kid. And then that other man came home from jail, and him and that girl who he was raising the kid with, they broke up. And he literally left me a message saying, I won't be able to work tomorrow. It was a Sunday, I was in church. And he said, I won't be at work tomorrow. And he killed himself. He never made it to work. But he had the decency to tell me that he wasn't coming to work. And then he killed himself. So I said to say, like, I just think that it's such a taboo topic. I mean, listen, you look all over YouTube and the internet, and everybody's got their take on depression. But what I like is with our audience, you know, what we try to, we don't act like Poppy said, we're not specialists.
No.
Right.
We just give you an opinion, and we just try to give you what our opinion is of that topic. And sometimes we all have different opinions at
Right.
at this table.
And it's respected.
Absolutely. So I just say that to say, like, I think if you see it, if you see one of your people, just or your kids or girlfriend, boyfriend,
Notice them.
yeah, just hey, a phone call, because everybody handles trauma differently. Also, that leads to depression. Could be financial. Could be death. Could be work related. Could be marriage related. You just don't know. Could be something going on with their kids. So that's why I say that to say, and I was actually there is like a national hotline that deals with, people can call up, and it's like 24/7. You can speak to somebody. It's called the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, and the number is 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-4357, or help, HELP. So if you know somebody out there who you think, or you yourself mentor somebody, do it. Maybe you could talk to a friend of yours or something like that. Or possibly a spiritual leader. But we suggest that you go get
Both.
Yeah.
train, get
Yeah.
people who are trained
Yeah.
to handle that. Sonia, what's your take on it?
No, I agree with what you said, Troy, and I'm glad you gave that information out, because we just don't sit here and talk about things. We are trying to be a source, a place of resource to give out information. If you can, Troy, please repeat that number again.
Absolutely. So the number is 1-800-662-4357.
And if by chance you want to reach out to us to get more information, or even to talk to somebody here, the email is truthisIs1311@gmail.com. You can email us at, hey, I would like to talk to someone, or, can you give me more information? And we will reach back out to you. But I think that for the most part, this is a serious topic, and spiritual help and practical help is something that you can look into, or either one or both, whatever you think is going to work for you to get you in a better place. Do that.
Pop.
My last words? No pun intended. But do something.
That's your words.
Do something. Don't
Yeah,
just
Don't sit there
Absolutely.
in it.
yeah. Do something. Reach out to somebody.
You're right. Right.
Let somebody know.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a secret. You don't have to suffer silently and
And alone.
secretly.
Yeah.
Let somebody know. Do something.
And I believe there's always a way out.
Absolutely. There's always resolution. Always.
Yeah.
All right, good people. Till next time. Later.